In this topic, we will look on the text technology. The outline of this talk will be on fonts and also typefaces, text editing, and the text file format. In the end of this topic, you should be able to state the nature of text in a computer system and also explain the different classification and characteristics of fonts. What is text? It's words or symbols in any form spoken or written, and it is the most common means of communication. Text is a vital element of multimedia menus, navigation systems, and also content. Multimedia developers must use words carefully and accurately so that the meaning will be the same as what text is all about. Text consists of alphabet characters, numbers, special characters such as punctuation, signs, or symbols, and it may include special icon or drawing symbols, mathematical symbols, Greek letters, and etc. It has a dual nature. Visual attributes of appearance for displaying the text on the screen or page, we call that as typography. Visual representation of language. Each character can be represented in a digital form, usually on the base 2. Each character also is associated with one number in character set. We will look on the character set in later topic. There are 4 factors affecting legibility of text. What does it mean by legibility? It is the quality of being clear enough to read. The first factor is the size. Second factor is background and foreground colors. The third factor is the leading. And the final factor is the style. What is the difference between typefaces and fonts? Typeface is a family of graphic characters that usually includes many type sizes and styles. For example, the font Helvetica, Times New Roman, and Impact have different type sizes and styles. Font is a collection of characters of a single size and style, belong to a particular typeface family. For example, a text with Helvetica typeface with a size of 12 point, bold and italic. We can also have text using Courier typeface, 18 point size, and underline. The study of fonts and typefaces includes the following: font styles, font sizes, cases, serif versus sans serif. Font styles is the technology of font effects in bringing viewers' attention to content, such as bold, italics, superscript or subscript, strike-through, shadow, and also colors. Font sizes is the distance from the top of the capital letters to the bottom of the descendants in letters, such as G and Y. It is measured in points, for example, 11 point, 12 point, and 13 point. Character metrics are the general measurements applied to individual characters. As you can see in this image, there are a few terminologies for each of the characters. Font sizes. We have 3 different terminologies in dealing with the font sizes. We have kerning. It is a space or spacing between character pairs. For example, between the D and also the character D and character E, we call that as kerning. Leading, it is the space between lines. So if you can see from the image, we have leading between the first line of text and the second line of text. Tracking is a spacing between characters. So if you can see, the FGHIJK in the image has bigger tracking. Why we have this kind of terminology or concept is to improve the appearance of text. Cases. Capitalized letter referred to as uppercase. Small letter referred to as lowercase. We also have intercap, which places an uppercase letter in the middle of a word. For example, FileMaker, where M in the name is using uppercase letter, and WebStar. Case sensitive is when upper and lowercase letters must match exactly to be recognized. For example, when you are dealing with the username and password of your email account. So the password is case sensitive. Serif versus sans serif. Serif is the little decoration at the end of a letter stroke. For example, at the image at the bottom, you can see that the serif is being circled in red. Why we have this little decoration is actually to improve readability by leading the eye along the line of types. So this font is best suited in body text. Okay, some of the example of serif font is Times Times New Roman, Bookman, Rockwell Light, Courier New, and also Century. For sans serif, the character does not have a serif at the end of a letter stroke, as you can see from the image at the bottom. It has to be read letter by letter. And this font is suitable for headlines and bold statements. Examples of the sans serif are Century Gothic, Arial, Comic Sans MS, Impact, and Tahoma. We also have two terminologies which are ascender and descender. Ascender is an upstroke on a character. For example, in the character H, we have ascender at the top of the letter. Descender is a downstroke below the baseline of a character. For example, the character P. This is the descender. What is the difference between bitmap and vector fonts? Bitmap or raster fonts is depending on the size and the number of pixels. Vector fonts. It can be drawn in any size by scaling the vector drawing primitives mathematically. File size is much more smaller than the bitmaps. Two examples of vector font are TrueType and also PostScript. If you can see from the image, there are differences between the raster and also vector font, especially when we zoom in the character. You can see that the raster image or raster font will be jagged or pixelated. Jaggeds are the jagged edges you see when the bitmap image is resized. For example, on the left-hand side of the image. It is a consequence of the underlying array of pixels from which the image is composed. So how to improve these jaggies? We will use a technique called anti-aliasing that can be used to eliminate jagged edges. It substitutes additional pixels in other colors to fool the brain into thinking it is seeing continuous lines. For example, on the right-hand side is anti-alias technique being used on the character A so that you can see the difference between the left and also the right image of the character A. The technique is used to blend the font into the background by transitioning the color from the font color to background. This technique minimizes the jagged edges, making for a smoother overall appearance. When are we going to use text element in multimedia? Text elements used in multimedia are usually on the menus for navigation, interactive buttons, fields for reading, HTML documents, and also symbols and icons. Menus for navigations are usually using text through content using a menu. Simple menu consists of a text list of topics. For example, in the image, the menus are using text. Second is interactive buttons. A button is a clickable object that executes a command when activated. Users can create their own buttons from bitmaps and graphics. The design and labeling of the buttons should be treated as an industrial art project. So you can choose any kinds of buttons and also fonts to be displayed on your buttons. Okay? And also certain colors are suitable for certain kinds of button. Fields for reading. Reading a hard copy is easier and faster than reading from the computer screen. A document can be printed in one of two orientations, landscape and portrait. If working with a block of text that is taller than what will fit, you can put the text into a scrolling field. Break the text into fields that fit on monitor-sized pages and design control buttons to flip through these pages. Fourth is the HTML documents. HTML, or stands for Hypertext Markup Language, is the standard document format used for web pages. HTML documents are marked using tags, as what you can see in the image. An advanced form of HTML is DHTML or Dynamic HTML. DHTML using cascading style sheets or CSS. Some of the commonly used tags are the B tag for making text bold-faced, the OL tag for creating an ordered list, the image tag or IMG tag is for inserting images. As what you can see in the image, this is example of the cascading style sheets. It has font family, font size, color, and also border bottom tag. Symbols and icons. Symbols are concentrated text in the form of stand-alone graphic constructs. They are used to convey meaningful messages. Symbols used to convey human emotions are called emoticons. Icons are symbolic representations of objects and processes. For example, the symbols in yellow color is example of emoticons. And this one is actually the icons, where it replaces the text being used in the menu by using graphical representation. There are differences between icon and symbol, so you can go to this link and see what are actually the difference. There are certain tips in how to choose text fonts Consider legibility and readability. Avoid too many faces. Use color purposefully. Use anti-alias text. Use drop caps and initial caps for accent. Minimize centered text. Use a lot of white space and animated text to grab attention. What is character sets? We have American Standard Code for Information Interchange or ASCII, and it is a 7-bit coding system. So it will assign number of value to 1 to 8 or 2 to the power of 7 characters. So each of the lower and uppercase letters, punctuation marks, Arabic number, math symbols, control characters such as carriage, return, tab, and etc. have their own assigned number of value. This is example of the character set. For example, if you have null, your decimal value will be 0, hexadecimal value will be 0, and octal value will be 000. So these will have the character null, the representation of character null. If you can also see, if you have character of capital A, okay, the decimal will be 65, hexadecimal will be 41, and HTML will be 65. And it is different with the small or lowercase letter of A. The value is different. ASCII uses only 7 bits to code its 1 to 8 characters. The 8 bit of the byte is unused. The extended character set is commonly filled with ANSI standard characters. Symbols such as these. International diacritics or alphabet characters such as this one. So these are all extra character that will be catered by the ANSI standard character set. The ISO Latin 1 character set is used while programming the text of HTML pages. An extension of the ASCII and also ANSI is the Unicode, which has 16-bit character or architecture for multilingual text and character encoding. The shared symbols of each character set are unified into collections of symbols called scripts. So it can map across platforms. Fonts and characters are not cross-platform compatible, so they must be mapped to other machine using font substitution. This is an example of Unicode codes for Czech, Hungarian, Polish, Scandinavian, and some other Central European languages. So they have their own character for each of the language, and they have their own Unicode code. Compatibility of Unicode and ASCII is this one. So ASCII is a 7-bit but has a byte representation, but this 8-bit will not be used. The Unicode will have a 16-bit representation. So for lowercase c, this is the ASCII code for it, and this is the Unicode for the lowercase c. Okay, next we will look into some font editing and design tools available. Okay, so one of the proprietary software is called Font Lab. Okay, it's a specialized integrated font editor compatible with both Mac and Windows platform. It can be used to create and edit open type fonts, variable fonts, color fonts, and also web fonts. It can also modify existing typefaces and convert between font formats. So you can try to download this from the website of Font Lab. Another software, which is an open source software, is Font Forge. It is an open source application that can be used on Mac, Windows, and Linux computers. With this program, you can create and edit PostScript, TrueType, OpenType, SVG, and bitmap fonts. The app can also convert fonts from one format to another. Next, we will look into text file format. We have plain text. It is a kind of non-executable digital file and has only text. It can have numbers, letters, symbols, and or a combination, but does not contain special formatting such as italic text, bold text, underlined text, and pictures. It identifies with the .txt file extension in Microsoft Windows Computer. If you can see the image on the left-hand side, the top two lines are actually rich text format. Plain text is the third one, where it can only contain text, line breaks, and spacing, with no other special formatting. If you want to have a special formatting, you can use Rich Text Format or RTF. It is a method of encoding formatted text and graphics for use within applications. It was intended as a universal format that could be used by most word processors, making it easier for people to share Word documents with people who don't use Word. So this is example where you can format your text with rich text format. What is hypermedia and hypertext? Multimedia is defined as the combination of text, graphics, and audio, video, and animation elements into a single presentation. When the user assumes control over the presentation, it is called interactive multimedia. Interactive multimedia becomes hypermedia when a structure of link elements is provided to the user for navigation and interaction. Hypertext is defined as the organized cross-linking of words, images, and other web elements. A system in which words are keyed or indexed to other words is referred to as a hypertext system. A hypertext system enables the user to navigate through text in a non-linear way. Information management and hypertext programs present electronic text, images, and other elements in a database fashion. Software robots visit web pages and index entire websites. Hypertext databases make use of proprietary index system. Server-based hypertext and database engines are widely available. One of the examples of hypertext is actually the Wikipedia. What is hypermedia structures? What is the difference between hypermedia and also hypertext? Hypermedia structures contain links, nodes, anchors, and navigating hypermedia structures. Links are the connections between conceptual elements. In these images, you can see that one page, for example, home page, will be connected or linked to another page. Okay, so this the red arrow is the connection. So these are actually the links. Links are the navigation pathways and menus. Links will connect home with About Us, as an example. Notes. Notes are accessible topics, documents, messages, and content elements. Notes and links from the backbone of a knowledge access system. So for example, the home page is a notes. An anchor is defined as the reference from one document to another document, image, sound, or file on the web. The source node linked to the anchor is referred to as a link anchor. The destination node linked to the anchor is referred to as a link end. This is an example of a HTML link where you will have a target link of this website's URL as the target link, and also the anchor text will be this text of tiny dancing horse. The simplest way to navigate hypermedia structures is via buttons. Location markers must be provided to make navigation user-friendly. Hypertext system is a system in which words are keyed or indexed to other words is referred to as a hypertext system. For example, the World Wide Web, where you can type in and also click on any button or links, and you can go to any other places inside the internet. A hypertext system enables the user to navigate through text in a non-linear way. It is linked quickly and intuitively. As a conclusion, text is one of the most important elements of multimedia. The standard document format used for web pages is called HTML. Multimedia is a combination of text, graphics, and audio elements into a single presentation. A hypertext system enables the user to navigate through text in a non-linear way. Thank you so much.